All right, aloha, y'all, and welcome to the freaking GROWTHCAST, another Aloha Friday episode with Jackson freaking Campbell.
I'm here.
I feel like it's been a while, bro.
Man, I feel like we haven't recorded here in the office. I feel like it's been
at least a
month,
while,
man.
dude.
I've missed it.
We've done a couple interviews of other people. We've done some with the Marriott, and now we are back home. Feels good, dude.
It does feel good. Man, geez, now thinking about it, I'm just realizing we really haven't sat down here to record in quite a while. So
No, dude, it's been a while.
Very grateful to be here today.
Okay, bro, what are we talking about today? Well, give them a rundown of what we do here.
Yeah, so we're okay. Before I give a rundown, we're going to talk about peak partnership. Peak partnership's coming up. It's going to be huge, and we've got some really cool things to share about peak
and not
partnership
just
today.
about peak partnership, but about how you can maximize peak partnership and why you should absolutely go to peak partnership. Some people think that it's just you only go there if you're an active investor. Some people think that you have to be in the business to go there. No, dude. Peak partnership is designed to help you as an individual expand your mindset, grow your network in every aspect of everything we do. There's no other event, and I'm confident about this, that will have a better networking opportunity for you to place your money, to find deals to place your money, partnerships, relationships, growth. Presenter. It's just a great event.
It is. It's going to be so awesome. And today we're going to dive into, like you said, some strategies on how you can prepare for that event.
Absolutely.
To make sure you can make sure you get the most out of that event. Before we dive in, just a quick breakdown of the GROWTHCAST for those of you that are just joining. If this is the first time you're listening, welcome. We're very happy to have you here. I apologize. I'm a little bit nasally this morning. I'm a little bit under the weather. Just coming back from a cold, so I apologize if I sound nasally. And I really hope I don't get you sick. The GROWTHCAST is presented by the Multifamily Mindset and Multifamily Capital Partners. It's a podcast that provides daily value based on multifamily, real estate, and mindset topics. Monday through Thursday, we have our daily drip hosted by Dallas Pruitt, who brings you daily mindset principles. Friday, we have our Aloha Friday drips hosted by myself, Jackson Campbell, with Tyler Deveraux. That's what you're listening to right now. Here I get the opportunity to interview Tyler on multifamily real estate as well as mindset principles. So very powerful episodes to hear from Tyler. People pay a lot of money to learn from Tyler and to go to Tyler's classes, but we get some free content from him on these episodes. So they're very, very valuable. And then on Saturday is our extended cut where I get the opportunity to do a deep dive interview with Dallas on mindset principles that he provided for us over that past week. This month as well, we're diving into the book of the month, which is Mindset by Carol Dweck. So we also discuss that book on our extended cuts as well. All of our content can be found on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes that are always challenging you to think bigger. But that's just a quick little rundown of the GROWTHCAST and what we do here on a weekly basis.
Love it.
But let's dive in here, Ty. Let's dive in here.
Let's do it.
First thing, want to talk about peak partnership today. And I guess pretty open question is, what are things that people can be doing now, this early prior to the event, to prepare for the event?
You think that prepping now? Don't people just show up and just fucking wing it?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like what are things that people can do now to prepare for that?
I know, but don't you think that most people just show up and wing it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Totally.
They love the idea of going to an event and they think it's going to be awesome and cool speakers, cool people, and they just show up and think it's going to happen for them.
I think that's how people go through life too.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's just fact, right? So we live with intention in everything that we do. So you should absolutely be planning and preparing for the event you're going to go to, man. And you need to determine what you're looking to go there to do and who you want to connect with. I think we should talk about all that.
Yeah.
But what you should prepare, you should identify those things, but also set some momentum goals as you go in. And I talked about this last year. I talk about this all the time because I talk about this pretty much anytime we dissect an event that I've just went to or an event that we've hosted, which is the 5-second rule. And 5-second rule might be a little bit like which is the 5-second rule is these events can be intimidating. Networking events can be intimidating. It just can be. You're going into a place, maybe you know some people, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
And so my 5-second rule is you introduce yourself to someone the first 5 seconds within the room. Maybe it's 5 seconds, maybe it's not. Don't run into the room and just go fucking ham. But immediately go walk up to somebody and introduce yourself, dude. Introduce yourself to somebody within the first 5 seconds right away. And that first connection at any event is your gateway to meeting more people, right? Like it's the gateway to everything that you do there. And if that goes well, like, listen, maybe they introduce you to other people. Maybe they already know people there and they introduce you to other people. Maybe they don't know anybody either, and you guys collectively go together to like tap into other groups. I don't know. But like in order for that to go well and that momentum to happen, you have to plan and prepare to like conversation starters to make sure that it goes well. Like there's a dude at the gym, okay? I wasn't planning on chatting about this, but I just thought about it. I see him every day. I try so hard to just like literally it is painful to have a conversation. It's painful to say hi because the dude doesn't know how to reply. The dude doesn't know. It's like, it is literally, it's almost like you say, well, it's not almost. This is what you say. Pretend like I'm the dude and you say hi to me.
Hey, man, good morning. He stares at you?
Just stares.
Oh.
And then, but we'll eventually then say, hello. And it's like, oh my God, jeez almighty, that was freaking painful.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, just go in and be like reverse. Obviously, somebody saying hi to you, that shit's easier, but just go in and ask questions. Give somebody a way to reply. Dude, what do you do for work? What brought you to the event? Have some literally conversation starters just prepared, you know? What do you do for work? What brought you to the event? What are you most, looking to get the most out of the event? Do you know any of the other speakers? Who's the most interesting person that you've chatted with so far, right?
Yeah.
Once again, once that first conversation goes smoothly, that will create confidence and momentum to go do that a million times over.
Absolutely. I have a comment.
Okay.
I have a comment here. I believe that one of the best ways to gain momentum is just to put your needs aside and look to serve others.
Yeah.
I love these first questions that you offered here. Like, what do you do for work? Should you put yourself aside and look into them? What are your thoughts there? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, bro. I love that.
Well, I've learned it. I mean, if I'm being honest, I learned it from you.
No, you didn't learn it from me.
Man.
We just talk about it a lot.
We do.
You learned it from the freaking womb, dude. You came out like that. You did, dude. But it is, man. It's once again, it comes down to providing value. Like those conversation starters we just talked about.
Yeah.
We should be asking those conversation starters with intention. So for example, right? One of those was, why did you decide to attend the event, or what are you looking to get out of the event? So why are you asking that question? Why am I asking that question? Why would you ask that question? Why should anybody ask that question? Because I literally want to know what that person is trying to accomplish.
Sure.
Because maybe I can help them accomplish that, right? Maybe that I can connect them with somebody to help them with whatever their goal or their aspiration for the event is. Right, so we're looking for ways to provide value, looking for ways to introduce people to other people. I'm always so grateful, dude, when I go to an event. Anybody is so grateful for this, though. This is the thing. When anybody is always so grateful when everyone is at a networking event to meet other people. That's
what you go to networking events for. Yeah.
Understand it. Yeah. Everyone is there to meet other people. Everyone is there for a reason. Learn, great. But it's to connect, man. And I'm always so grateful when people connect me to other people.
Yeah.
When people go and it helps break the ice, dude.
So
I already met this person. Let me introduce you to this person.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for that kind of stuff. It makes it way easier. So ask these questions, figure out ways that you can help. And dude, understand that people love talking about themselves. Like I'll never forget one of the first multifamily, like true big multifamily network events I went to was the Wilson Conference. And I remember my mentor just going in and asking people questions. That's how he led into everything, dude. And he had this goal, his name was Jeremy, but his goal was to see how many questions he could ask before that person would ask a question. What's interesting is I did that in my early 20s, dude. Yeah. We would do these. I had this job where we'd go on long drives. And I would sit there in the back seat. I was always in the back seat, right? I never got shotgun. So I would sit in the back seat and I would just try to ask. It was a game. I gamified it. How many questions can I ask before they ask me a question back?
Yeah.
And that was fun. And man, when we focus on service, when we focus on, once again, taking ourselves out of that equation, right? And we focus on service, our life becomes joyful. When you focus on service in an event, your event will become joyful.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It's just taking yourself outside of the situation gives you the ability to also be more yourself, be who you are, and be that more authentic self, and make those connections so much easier,
bro.
So much easier. Okay, dude, tell me about the conversation that you had yesterday with the person who was struggling to raise capital.
Same thing that we just talked about, really. Like they're talking about how they're struggling to raise capital. They have these conversations. They go in with intention. But dude, I told them that they should raise capital for our fund. And he's like, oh, okay, well, like, okay, so like, so how come?
Yeah.
Because what's he thinking when I'm saying that?
Why would you? Yeah. What is he? He's probably thinking, well, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steal, right?
Yeah.
Go raise capital for our fund. Well, okay, am I going to get a percentage?
Yeah.
Nope.
It's the first question. Always is going to be that.
Go raise capital for our fund. And it was kind of this pause, right? And I told you about this, but
yeah.
Why would I tell him to do that? Why would that be my knee-jerk reaction? Because, well, dude, it's literally exactly what you just said about removing yourself from the equation. You have to remove yourself from the equation. So many times we get in our own way, but we don't even recognize that we're getting in our own way. And why? It's because we have these things that I want everyone to listen to this, dude. Listen, and truly understand what I'm talking about, because I believe you should take the same damn approach at peak if you're nervous about whatever you're nervous about. Like, go and remove yourself from the equation. Literally remove yourself from the equation. Until you truly remove yourself from the equation, you'll be blind to how much you get in your own way. Period. So, but listen, when you have nothing to gain or nothing to lose, you'll be able to act authentically, right?
Yeah.
And authentically wanting to help someone will bring out your best self. And so who's that person you're trying to help? Well, that person that ever you're connecting with. Okay, so let's say that you're connecting with somebody and you know that they need to place capital and you have a deal for them to place capital in, but just for a second you take a longer term perspective and you remove yourself from the equation, nothing to gain here, and you're like, okay, well, what type of deal are you looking to invest in? What kind of things are you looking to do? You know what you should do? Man, MFCP has this fund that they have all these diversified assets across that fund that help grow your capital, but also protect your capital. Do you know anybody with that team? Dude, let me introduce you to Melissa, to Tasha, to Ryan, to Tyler, to the team, to Jackson, to make sure that you know, hey, let me go introduce you. What does that do, right? That removes yourself from the equation. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden you're seeing how you handle that conversation so much differently than the conversations you've been handling when you're trying to raise money for your own stuff. And then what can you do with that information? Repeat it for your own stuff.
Exactly.
You're like, oh shit, that worked because this is how I approached it.
Yeah.
Remove yourself from the equation in the short term to help you in the long term, dude. It's the same thing at this event, okay? Mm-hmm. Go in and remove yourself from this equation. Go provide value for somebody else. Go literally look for ways to connect others. Next thing you know, people will be connecting you with others. It's just how it works, man. It's the law of reciprocity. It will come back to you if you just take a second and have faith, literally have faith enough to act like that now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this, and I love that that's the suggestion you gave that individual, because like just another reason, it gives you the opportunity to practice with zero risk.
Yeah.
Zero. It's not. You're not even.
Yes.
You're not even talking about your deal.
Yes.
You're literally just sitting there practicing with the potential investor. You're not putting any of your deals or anything out there, so there's zero risk to it.
Yes.
But when you take yourself out of that and realize what they need, you realize that's exactly what you need to do when you're having conversations with investors. It's never about you.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about multifamily real estate and how anybody can do it. Is that it's never about the operator or the person that's it's about the investor's capital being protected and grown. That's what it's about. It's not about me. It's not about here. So when you do that and you're talking about somebody else's deals, it gives you the opportunity to do that, but then also understand that's how you have to do it when you're getting your own investors.
I love that approach that you took, bro, because so many people are nervous of, why are they nervous to raise money? Why are they nervous to connect with somebody? Because they're nervous of rejection.
Exactly.
They're nervous of the risk of rejection. So remove it.
Yeah.
Literally remove it. How you phrase that is better than how I phrase that, which is just, it literally is risk-free. It removes the risk. That will also help you gain momentum.
Yeah.
Like if people approach it like that, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Also, it removes the pressure. I know for me in those situations, I feel tons of pressure in that situation. I want to make sure I'm answering the question right for the investor.
Oh, shit. Your own deal?
Because it's the deal that I have.
Yeah,
so I should have all the
absolutely.
information.
Yes.
But if I don't have the information on the deal because I just heard about MFCP that has this deal in this situation, right? I don't know the answer to your question, but I know that they do.
I love it.
And it helps you build that relationship.
Do you know that that's how Ryan and I got into our first deals?
I did know that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did know that. But no, explain how that.
We referred capital to other people's deals, and then we realized that we were pretty good at that. And what I also learned is that I learned because when I would refer somebody to somebody else's deal, well, first off, it was because I didn't have a deal, and I didn't know what I could even do with that person. Like if I'm being honest, it wasn't an intentional approach. It just wasn't. It was, well, maybe we can connect. And for Ryan, maybe for Ryan it was intentional, but for me it was, I didn't really know. I didn't have I didn't have a deal at that point. I'm trying to find deals, right? But I didn't. And so we connect. And then all of a sudden, guess what happened? People were like, hey, these guys can raise money. They're good at raising money. They know investors. And I was like, yeah, yes, absolutely we do. I didn't know investors. I was like, yes, you're damn right.
Yeah.
And then what happens with that identity? We start acting like that now. We start acting like this future self now, and then you become that future self now, right?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And so what happened is, like, literally people started to view us in that light that we hadn't even really viewed ourselves in that light yet. Why? Because we were referring investors. But then what I wanted to say with that is that I learned. I would refer them over, and then I would not just walk away. I would listen to how that person talked about their deal to that person, how that operator would talk to that person about their deal. And I would see how that person would react to the operator. I could see, because I'm not in I don't have anything to gain or lose. I've never even really thought about this until right this very second. But it's like I'm this third party that had nothing to gain or lose from this. And so I'm watching and I'm looking at human cues.
Yeah.
I'm looking at human cues. I'm seeing how the operator comes across when they're presenting it. And I'm seeing how the message is received here. And I can see that landed, that didn't land. Okay, why didn't that land? Okay, well, now I'm making this mental note of I need to approach that differently. Or, I wouldn't approach it this way. Or, oh, God, that was great. I'm going to take that same approach there. And now I'm formulating this qualified conversational pitch here because I'm providing value here.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So it makes a ton of sense, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. And one of the things that oh man, it's so valuable. Because you removed yourself from the situation, you gained so much just from being able to watch, it. Because you removed yourself from the situation.
Isn't that funny how it works?
No, but it put you right next to the fire, dude.
Yeah.
You just explained, you were at a very early point in your career. You didn't have a deal. You were just raising some capital. But what that also provided you was it gave you the opportunity, the ability to get close to those people that are doing the deal.
Yeah.
And be in those conversations and learn and just grow towards being
so
able
good.
to do that, dude.
Good, bro.
It's amazing, like how much you can benefit from just truly taking yourself out of the equation and serving. It's incredible. It's blessed my life massively. Not even in the real estate or in the career space, dude.
Yeah.
Just in any space or in any point in your life. But dude, let's move on here. Talking about peak partnership.
Great tangent, though.
Great tangent.
I loved that.
That was an awesome. But and it all comes back in line with preparing for peak. Mm-hmm. The better you can understand that if you just remove yourself and your petty needs that you think you need.
Yeah.
In situations like this, your needs will be fulfilled without you even realizing it.
That's it.
Okay, dude, let's move on here. What are some other tips? Some other tips for preparing to go to peak, dude. Use
your growth guide.
Okay.
I just got a text message from Joe Hupp before we started this. Joe does our marketing, and he talked about how he's been using the growth guide that's our journal that we use for last year. Loves it, and he just talked about how much he loves it. Okay, so we were just talking about the growth guide.
I love Joe.
Geeking out about it. So do I.
Shout out, Joe.
Yes, and grateful for Joe, for Medio, for everything they do for us, man. Joe will be speaking. Joe is speaking at peak.
Yeah.
Joe will be speaking at peak. Y'all will hear Joe speak at peak. He's talking about branding and marketing and how to brand and market yourself. And how do you do that? Well, you do it with intention. How do you find your intention? Did you use the growth guide? It is meant to help with intention. So when I say use your growth guide, what that's going to do is it's going to force you to identify your objectives. What it does, right? It forces you to identify your objectives for the day. Now, you should identify those right now of what your objectives for the event are. But then every morning you're writing down your top 3 objectives for the day. So you're bring it into your focus, right, for the day. And then you're if you're using it properly, you're reviewing it multiple times throughout the day. And dude, if you do that, you become intentional, man. That's the epitome of becoming intentional. Like, I find myself when I don't use my growth guide, when I don't use that journal, it's almost like, man, what should I be focusing on? Do you know what I realized? My flight have been when I travel a lot, dude. And you think about, we live in Maui. So when I travel, it's not an hour. It's a fucking long ass flight. My flights have been so unproductive. Why? Because I get on there, I'm like, man, I don't use my journal. Typically, I haven't been using my journal on the days that I fly. Why? Because the days that I fly are just transitional day. But think about how much time I spend. And that hasn't always been like that. I'm talking like the last 6 months. That's how it has been. Yeah. And I just thought about it today because I'm just about to take a flight. And I know already on this board that's behind Jackson that you can't see, this whiteboard, I've already mapped out really the whole quarter of what I'm focusing on each week. Yeah. Yes or no?
Yep. Yeah.
And so and by the date. Yep. So I know that on this flight, this is the task this is the project that I'm going to be checking off, right?
Yeah. I
know that right now. Before all these flights that I'm about to take, because I have a crazy travel schedule coming up. Imagine the production that allows me to achieve because I'm intentional beforehand, that allows me to be intentional the day of.
And right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's why I don't think a lot of people understand too. Because you prepare, it makes you so much more intentional in the moment. You're not worried about these other things because you know you have them planned out. And it's very intentional. It's very, it makes it breeds clarity for the moment that you're in now.
It allows you to be present.
It allows, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly.
No, it's what you said.
Yeah.
You said it perfectly, bro. Which is, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even thought about that. I haven't. But what you just said, I think it just rang true to me because one of my goals that I really want to be present.
Yeah.
It's important to me. I want to be present in the moment, you know. Yeah. I was talking to Rowan yesterday. Shout out to Rowan. And she said that her identity, her focus or her goal is she wants to be present and alive in each moment. I think it was something like that. Be present and alive in each moment. But how do you do that? Planning. So you know what moment you're in. You know what moment's coming. You can live in the moment that you're in instead of worrying about the moment you're in. So like if you want to be present at the event, you want to know how to get the most of the event, be present and intentional. Mm-hmm. So to do that, you plan beforehand so that you know what you're focusing on so that you can be present in the moment. I love that, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's planning.
We're killing it today, bro. We are waxing on these fools, bro.
Dude, I agree definitely. Dude, this principle in being intentional, using your growth guide and planning out, for me, it's a huge principle for me. Yeah. And I know it's a huge principle for a lot of people who deal with maybe a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of worries. You know what I mean? It's an amazing tool that I've implemented to help with some of those difficulties that I have.
Do I deal with anxieties and worries?
Everybody does, dude. Absolutely.
What happened the other day, dude? We don't talk about this stuff because I don't talk about it very often, but I'm willing to do this for a second.
Yeah.
You came into the office. You were already in the office, but I was in here.
It was late.
Yeah.
It was
and
late.
I'm in the conference room. And what did you notice?
So it was end of day. It was late. I'm packing up my stuff. I'm throwing on my backpack and I look over at Ty and you're sitting here. You're just sitting here. You're even staring at me. You're looking at me like almost trying to get my attention. So yeah, I noticed. I come over here and I noticed that you've got your whiteboards. You got everything on your whiteboards and you're planning. Yeah, that's what happened. And you shared some things with me. Do you mind if I go into that?
Absolutely.
So no,
I don't mind. Absolutely go ahead.
So I walk into here and Ty's got all his quarterly goals mapped out on the whiteboard, and there's a lot of things there. There's a lot of things, a lot of big things, a lot of things that you have to do that's not even included with your other normal CEO KP tasks that you have as a high level individual that you are. And you expressed to me, I walked in and you go, bro, I think I'm having a panic attack. And do you remember what I said?
You're talking to the dude. I've had plenty of those, man. Let me walk you through it.
Let me walk you through it. But then we broke down your goals and we kind of just looked at this board. And I'm going to ask you, what did we find out?
Well, I don't think I was having a panic attack. I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I know I was.
Yeah.
Because there's all these things that need to be done, all these people that rely on me to get them done.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. Really, I know you know that.
No, I know you're
grateful for that, but it's a big responsibility, dude.
It's a burden,
you know,
for sure.
And so, and I shoulder that burden, right? And I always want to shoulder that burden. I appreciate that. But I was having one, dude. But I say this, and we go on this tangent here because it's what the Growth Guide does for me. What we did is we really just talked through it, first off, to take all these big things and it's like, okay, but this is what it does, man. When you get all these things out on the table and then you can really bring it back into, like, these are the ones that move the needle. These are the ones that are most important. And if we do these ones, then it unlocks these other ones here. It allows you to get intentional, allows you to gain clarity, and it allows you to turn anxiety into clarity that then breeds momentum, purpose, and everything. Confidence, peace, presence, right?
Yeah, all those things.
But it takes the ability to actually do that. The Growth Guide does that.
Forces you to do that.
So for anybody listening to this that thinks that we don't deal with it or I don't deal with it, yeah, I do. I just know how to work through it. And I have people that help me work through it. Jackson helped me work through it that night to help me understand. You were outside of the equation. Yeah. I was very much in it. And you were outside to really help me. You didn't tell me you got to do this and this and this. You're like, really, you just asked questions that helped unlock this next level of clarity. So if you're just trying to fight through this anxiety on your own, that's why you have anxiety. If you're just trying to bury the anxiety, that's why you have anxiety. Anxiety doesn't leave by burying it. You don't get rid of it by burying it. You get rid of anxiety by attacking it, by addressing it, by breaking it down and getting strategic with what's causing you anxiety and how do you fix it. That's it.
By planning.
Yeah.
It's such a principle, man. What you just said, dude, is that's why I paused, is because I'm trying to take it in. You can turn your anxieties into momentum.
A superpower.
Into a superpower.
Yeah.
Man. Very powerful. And I needed to hear that, so thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome. Awesome, dude. Let's move. Man, so powerful. Thank you for sharing that, Ty. I know that was a personal experience you had, dude, but there's so much to be learned from that, man. There's so many times anybody that's starting something new, they feel those things. But you just got to pause, make sure you have people around. I'm very grateful also for Ty. He's helped me in those situations multiple times.
The problems don't get smaller, man. You just get bigger, huh?
Yeah, and the problems get bigger.
The problems get bigger, but
the solutions also get bigger.
Yeah, that's it.
They also get bigger.
Okay, so other tips, man. Other tips. We talk about being intentional, but you also at the event need to be patiently intentional.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is you want to talk to as many people as possible, but I see so many people get stuck talking to the same person for an hour. You don't want to get stuck talking to the same person for an hour. You also don't want to be that person who jeopardizes an hour of somebody's time. And why do we do that? It's because it's comfortable. We found something that's easy to talk to and it's comfortable. So dude, be patiently intentional. Be patient enough and not intentionally patient. Listen to me, not intentionally patient, because intentionally patient means you're going to go there with patience and listen to somebody for an hour. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be patiently intentional, which means I will ask questions, patient enough to ask questions, listen, connect others, but also very intentional to make sure that we're keeping goals a priority and have an urgency behind the goals to make sure that I'm maximizing the time that I have.
Beautiful. Right? Beautiful. Yeah. Such a great tip, dude. Let's rattle these off. Let's rattle these tips off. What's another tip?
Is talk to the quiet person. Find the quiet person, talk to the quiet person. That person is either a baller who has a ton of connections, and so they're not as urgent to go out and create new connections, or it's somebody who's an introvert who is probably highly valuable, or it's somebody who's an introvert who would love somebody to come and initiate a conversation and then connect them with others. Yeah. So there's so much value to be talking to the quiet person. There's so much value found in talking to the quiet person.
Absolutely. Also, just something I want to add on this. I had an experience with this. There was that meetup at Maui Brew Co. right across the street from the office a couple weeks, maybe a couple months ago now. I don't know. Time blends together. We're moving so fast. But I did that. I took the opportunity. I saw a couple gentlemen just standing there. They were standing together. They weren't talking to anybody. So I walked up and I initiated a conversation with them.
Love it.
I gained nothing from that conversation.
Yeah.
These gentlemen also, as far as real estate goes, they didn't gain any sort of real estate anything there. Yeah. But I still get messages from that end. Like that individual messages me all the time. And he sent me a message just a couple weeks ago. I said, "Thanks for coming up and talking to me at that networking event." So yeah, they might have value that they could add. Yeah, they might, but they also might not, man.
Yeah.
They also might not be able to add any value to you and you no value to them. But what happened in that instance, which was really cool and just something I want to note here, is that his confidence was boosted
Totally
in that conversation just by me going over to
and why?
To introduce. Just I don't know why it boosted. I don't know.
Because somebody saw him and wanted to talk to him.
Right.
That's as simple as it is.
It is.
It's awesome.
It is. So just another thing. You might not get anything out of these conversations, and you can know pretty fast if you're not going to get anything out of them, if they're not going to get anything out from you either.
Yeah.
So it's almost a respectful thing to be like, hey, it's nice to meet you, man. I'll connect.
Yes.
I'll connect you if I think of you. I'll you know what I mean? I'll keep you in mind for sure.
Yes.
But it's a respectful thing for sure.
Love that, bro. I love that. Talk to the quiet person, man. There's so much value to be gained there. Also determine what you're looking, and I mentioned this, but like determine who you're looking for and who you're looking to connect. Like one way that I pump myself up for an event, it's like, dude, I know like there is this one person in the room that I'm supposed to meet. There's one person in the room that I'm supposed to connect with for maybe tons of different reasons. Maybe I'm supposed to connect with them because that person is going to connect me to clients, or maybe I'm supposed to connect with them because maybe they are a client, or maybe I'm supposed to connect with them because I can be of value to that person. But like I pump myself up like there is this one person there that I need to connect with. And then what does it do? It gives me that motivation continually. Like, so in like this narrative that I'm playing in my head is who's the one, right?
Yeah.
And as silly as that sounds, it works
because
it continues to motivate you to go chat with more people to find the one.
Yeah.
So who's that one?
Have you ever, just on just a little side note here, and maybe this leads into the next tip. What happens when you don't feel like you found the one at the event? You spent all the time at the event's wrapping up, and you haven't met the one that you were looking for. What do you do in that situation?
That's a good question. I think that you never really know at the event if that's the person is the one.
That's what I was getting after. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting after.
Because really most of that's going to happen afterwards, right? Like there can be connection that happens at the event, but really what's going to transpire from that connection is going to happen post-event. So what you're looking for, so I love this because we need to be seeking the connection part at the event, not the conversion part, right? Seek connection to conversion. You're not there to sell people. You're there to connect with people. Connection precedes that conversion, right?
Right.
So we need to look for the connection. So now the question is, how do you connect with people? You learn about them. You ask questions. So much of this has come down to asking questions because so much value can be found in just asking questions. But ask questions, show interest in them, and then display that interest in them again. You know, at Peak Partnership last year, okay?
Yeah.
One of the most common comments that I got is people were amazed that I actually remembered things about them. That I remembered where they would sit at the event. I would remember the thing that I'm the worst at remembering, by the way, is names. I'm the worst at remembering names, but I remember.
I feel like you're so good at that. So.
Well, God bless you for that. Then I'm maybe, you know what?
You're good at that. Don't say you're bad at that.
Yeah.
You're not bad at that.
I am pretty decent at that.
Yeah, you're good at that.
I think that it is maybe the thing that. Maybe it's the thing that I have the most anxiety about is remembering their name.
Maybe that's what it is.
Let me tell you how I do this, okay? Can I tell you how I do it? Because people are amazed with, I remember these certain things. Like, I remember them though, and I want people to hear this and like really understand, like, this is where your connection is going to happen. Maybe you are listening to this and maybe you are one of those people that I remembered something about you. And you're wondering, like, how the shit did he do that? How did he remember where I sat? How did he remember this conversation we had? Okay, here's your secret hack of how I do that. So if you're driving, if you're listening, take notes, pull over, take notes. Don't take notes while you're driving, even though I do that every single day. Don't do that. I live in Maui. The speed limit's 20 everywhere, so it's a different ballgame.
And you also get tickets for that, Tyler. I will expose you on this. I will expose you on this GROWTHCAST.
I have definitely done that. Definitely got tickets there. But this is worth getting a ticket for. Listen, man, I can remember those things because I write those things down and review them regularly. What you don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but we have a seating chart anytime I do an event. And on that seating chart is where people sat, and it is also notes about that I keep, and I review them all the time. Anytime somebody's name comes up that I don't know who that is, I go back to my seating chart, review the notes about them so that I know about them. Anytime an event, I just had a message on IG maybe 2 days ago. It was Sunday. No, it was Sunday because they had just finished an event in Oklahoma City. Well, I had reviewed the seating. I wasn't at that event, but I look at the seating chart of that event. I see the pictures of the people that are on the seating chart. I see the notes that the individuals who were there helping wrote about the individual and this individual now that I had already reviewed. I like literally had seen where they sat, which was on the, I look at it from speaker side, speaker left, maybe third, fourth row. And I see that she has flipped how that James, then I asked James about this, but he had mentioned in there, flipped houses, started an event, wedding planning or event business, and had absolutely killed it, wants to prove her ex-husband wrong. Like, seriously, I read all these notes. Yeah. And then I text James a question about it, and he replies back. And then next thing I know, this person, and I text about a number of people, but this person sends me a message. And I can reply with that knowledge and that info. And literally all she wrote back was like, wow. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So what do? I write it down or review it regularly. And then what I also know how to do in the moment is listen, ask questions to tap my memory bank. I know how to ask that person questions to tap into my memory bank of what I already know is up here, but I just need to like uncover it. Ask questions that then spark something that helps to uncover something from a memory bank. So once again, what does it come down to? Asking questions with intention to make sure that I can connect.
It's huge.
Yeah,
network
is a long game, dude. It's not this short game. It's this long game. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so valuable. So what you're saying here, just to review this last tip, is to seek connection.
Yes.
Connection rather than just a contact.
Yeah, that's what life's about, man.
Yeah,
is connection. But you said contact. Seek connection, not just the conversion, because once again, you're not. Right. Maybe you get some sort of business done at the event. Maybe you don't, man. But my advice to you is, if you're just looking to get business done at the event, you're probably going to have an anxious event.
Yeah.
You're going to have an anxiety-filled event. But if you just have enough confidence and faith to know that by connecting, the business is a byproduct of the connection, focus on the connection, the business is a byproduct. Or the actual business transaction is a byproduct.
Right. Oh, man, so valuable. So valuable. Okay, last question as we wrap up here. How do you follow up with these contacts post-event?
Yeah, that's a great question, though, because where do I take my notes? I take my notes when I'm at an event, like a networking event like Peak. I'll take my notes or my notes in my contact app. So somebody gives me a card or I add them to my phone. I don't just add them and then it's done. Like, I'll add and then I will literally take a note in the notes section of something about the conversation that I had with them. So if I'm meeting somebody, for an example, at an event that we're doing, like our 3-day boot camp, I'll write down something I talked to them about and the seat that they sat in, because it's this memory, it pulls from my memory bank. Yeah. I'll write it down by writing it down on paper on purpose, right? By writing it down, typing it in, it stores in my memory bank somewhere. Now I need to uncover it. But I will store it in there, write notes about the conversation that we had, but then I'll also, here's your key here, okay, is that I will include keywords in the note that I take. For example, an example of this is, let's say that it's something that I absolutely want to follow up with. I will do a keyword that I'll put in there, follow up Peak. Just follow up Peak. Then at the end of the event, because you have all these people you talk to, maybe you stored a bunch of contacts, but there's only a few that's like, this is for sure a follow up from Peak. I will just search in my contact, from my contact, that app, right? The keyword follow up Peak, and it will filter all these different people that I'm supposed to follow up with, that I determined at that event are people that I should follow up with. It filters them quickly. Now I can put it to an actions task to go follow up.
That's awesome. Is that just from your contacts app on your iPhone?
Yep, that's it.
That's awesome. That's an incredible takeaway and actionable for everybody going to Peak as well.
Thanks,
do that.
It's helped me.
Do that, dude. That's awesome. Okay, dude. Anything else that you want to add here as we're wrapping up about Peak?
One more thing is that when I do follow up with them, these are connections that I have made, that I have identified are meaningful connections. This is not just everyone. This is like meaningful connections. And don't get offended that you're not one of the meaningful connections. Like, dude, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but you're looking for those that are meaningful connections for you, right? Yeah. Everyone, you should know what those things are. But somebody that is like, this is like this meaningful connection that I've made at an event, right? And when I go to follow up with that person, I will mention something. So usually I like to send a video is what I like to do.
Okay.
Like I'll send just a quick video because it sets you apart, right?
Definitely.
And I'll mention something that we chatted about, a conversation that we had, and then ideally, if I can, in an ideal world, if I have thought about a connection that I can connect them with or an impact, something of value that I can provide that person based on the conversations that we've had, I will mention that and see that in that video. Hey, man, just thinking of you. Great to meet you, whoever it is. I was thinking about you, though, and reached out to so-and-so, and I know that this is the goal that you had at the event, and so I wanted to connect you with so-and-so. If you're interested, I know that you wanted to get on more podcasts for the year, and I know that this podcast that I've been on has awesome guests. You'd be a perfect fit for their guest. If you want me to make that connection, I'm more than willing to make that connection. Just let me know. Boom. Awesome. Gives them a reason, and does it make sense?
Yeah.
Sets you apart.
Yeah, it gives them an actionable. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And again, what you're doing there.
Asking questions
and taking yourself out of the equation.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff, dude. It's all wrapped into this.
Asking questions is an art form. And it's an art form that I learned in my early 20s from listening. From listening to the top people. It was a sales job. And I listened to the top people. The top people didn't, you think of selling somebody, you think of they're telling. No, dude. They asked questions. They asked better questions. They got better results. That's what they did. And so you get in this habit of asking better questions. And that is something that if you can skill up on that throughout your life, in different stages of your life, because every single portion of your life, you're in different stages of your life, right? Different seasons of your life. Like the questions that I ask now are very different. Like when I'm talking to a team member and I'm trying to help them solve a problem that they have, I don't want to just solve it for them. I know the answer most of the time. Like I do, because because I've skilled. I've been in the position. I've been in the seat. But I don't want to just answer it for them. Same with my kids. I don't want to just tell them what to do. Paxton yesterday, okay, could not get his seatbelt on. So I pull over and I'm like, okay, why can't you get, and these are basic questions, but you'll get the point. Why can't you get your seatbelt on? The seatbelt won't pull up. Okay, why won't the seatbelt pull up? It's a stupid seatbelt. The seatbelt is just stupid. It won't pull up. I'm like, Paxton, seatbelt is not stupid. I want you to say something nice. I swear to God, I had him say something nice about the seatbelt. Thank you, seatbelt, for always protecting me and saving me. I'm like, okay, now that we are in a positive state of mind,
love it. Let's
take a breath. Once again, if we can control our breath, we can control our actions. Why isn't the seatbelt pulling up? Well, why wasn't the seatbelt pulling up? Once he had a clear state of mind, then he could identify. And I already knew this, and I swear to God I already knew this because I saw, so he has these car seats, but it was stacked over. I pushed his car seat over before I put the kids in, the booster seat, right? Before I put the kids in, and I saw that he has a Rubik's Cube, and it had fallen down where the seatbelt was. I forgot that, but I knew this in this moment. I could be like, there's a damn Rubik's Cube in there, just pull it out. But I want him to understand how to solve problems.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Pax, look, why? Oh, it's not pulling up. Okay, why isn't it pulling up? Maybe there's something blocking it. Okay, well, what can you do to determine that? Let me reach my hand down here. Reaches his hand down here and finds the Rubik's Cube. He's like, oh, it was a Rubik's Cube. And I was like, oh, great job solving that problem. See, not dumb seatbelt, just dumb you for a moment. But man, how you were able to solve it. And I swear to God, that's what I said. Yeah. And I said, but what changed you from being dumb is your ability to actually solve a problem.
Right.
And what do I get paid to do, Pax? To solve problems. And I get paid handsomely to solve problems. So remember, in this moment that you're having a problem, don't get freaking yelling at the seatbelt. Understand that you're in control and that by your ability to solve that problem, you'll be valuable and also paid handsomely.
Yes.
That's conversation, right?
Yeah,
Ask better questions.
I love it, man. Yeah. I love it. As we wrap up these Aloha Friday episodes, Ty, again, just want to thank you, man, for taking the time to jump on these valuable tips and tricks.
Thank you, bro, for pulling it out of me, man. I love it.
Is preparing for peak. I definitely re-listened to this one a couple of times. There's so many gems in here that you could put into place prior to peak to prepare. As we wrap up these Aloha Friday episodes, we always like to end with the Hawaiian value.
Yes.
What's our Hawaiian value for today? I got a peek at it, and I love it. I love it. This is a good one.
Pa'akawa'a. Pa'akawa'a. I hope that pa'akawa'a. I think that's how it is. Pa'akawa'a.
Sounds right.
Which is the Hawaiian saying that translates into close the mouth. Close the mouth. Listen, right? On average, and I don't know where people pull these stats, but I pulled this stat from the internet because I searched it. And actually, let me give you a resource where I pull so many of these Hawaiian values from, okay? There's a book called Naturally Aloha. Naturally Aloha. And it is a phenomenal book. And that's where I pull most of these values from. If you love the Hawaiian value, you should read Naturally Aloha. Shout out to, gosh, I cannot remember her name now. But if you go read Naturally Aloha, you'll see that so much of what I pull from her. Her book is amazing. Her insights are amazing. And if you haven't read it, you should read it. We should put the link in the bio because I pull so much from it. I feel like I can't believe I've never shouted her out. But she says in there that the average person might meet around 80,000 people in their lifetime.
That's a lot.
And then she posed a better question, which was, how many people can you think of that have listened deeply to you? Of those many people that you've met in your life, how many people can you think of that have deeply listened to you? Probably a rare few. And you remember those rare few because they're a rarity. So you want to be a rarity. You want to stand out. You want to make it. Listen deeply. On the flip side of that, imagine how many of those people, well, ask yourself this better question. How many of those people that you've met have you deeply listened to?
It's the better question.
Right? Because imagine how much we could learn from those 80,000 people if we just pa'akava'a. Close your effing mouth and listen. Ask questions, but then listen intently. Listen deeply. That'll form connection. That'll form learning. That'll form growth. That'll form the meaning of life, man.
So valuable. Listen. It's so valuable. I think a lot of times when we're having these connections, speaking of networking events, we're always thinking, what can I say next that's going to impress this person? Give me their contact to want to do business with me. And you don't even listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
Love this principle.
Yes.
If you listen to what they're saying, the connection's going to come so much easier.
Yes.
Instead of you trying to create something out of thin air to create a contact or create a connection. Tyler, thank you, dude. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. And thank you to all y'all for listening. I cannot wait to see y'all at Peak. If you're not registered for Peak, what are you doing, man? Get registered for Peak Partnership. I cannot wait to see y'all there. We'll also include the link here. Man, that is that event for connection, for growth, for just movement in your life, in every aspect of your life, not just in the real estate sector of life. Every aspect of your life, man. We're a real estate company, but, man, we are far more than just a real estate company. We are a mindset growth company, and I can't wait to see y'all there, to see your mindset grow, to see you connect with people, to see you connect other people with people. Partnerships will happen. Businesses will be formed and grown. And that's a powerful thing, man. So until then, live always with aloha. Peace.